Good morning, guys. I'm at the computer and I am taking a closer look at all of the responses that we've gotten on the 1969 murder case of Jack and Carol Ann McWilliams. They were brother and sister-in-law, and I have, probably put into this 20 hours, and we've probably got 5 hours of Spirit Box sessions recorded. What I find amazing, and what you should find amazing, is that out of 20 million names that this Spirit Box could say, it doesn't. That's just the tip of the iceberg in terms of Carol and Jack having their names come through these devices dozens of times for each of them through the course of this investigation. What happened to Jack and Carol? Well, they tell us many times the brutal things that occurred back in 1969. Have a listen.
Last week.
Oh, it's pouring. That's not coincidence. The box, to me, is not just making that up. It is not listening to us. The other reason I say that, we're running an app that you guys could say, well, it's for entertainment purposes, it's recording you, it's listening, and then it's giving you answers that you want to hear. The problem with that is, guys, we did the original murder mystery case, Grant and I, way back in the spring of 2022. And not until the end of the summer, when we were out at the farm, our family farm, doing an investigation out there, they broke in and started, again, with It's My Turn and giving us a whole set of information on the murders. Again, we didn't ask to speak to them. Why or how the app would remember sessions from months previous and jump in and do that doesn't make sense to me. To me, there's more to it. The spirits are actually contacting us as we're working on other things. And that happened again, months later again, into December. I'm sitting here at the house doing another Spirit Box session. Again, nothing to do with those guys. I didn't want to hear from them. I actually ignored when I heard the name Carol come through. And then the second time it came through, I was like, okay, fine. If you guys are here, give us some information. And boy, did they. And that led me down this rabbit hole of 6 more videos investigating their case from every angle, trying to corroborate their story through newspaper clippings, and just trying to figure out what is it the spirits are trying to tell us about this case. What is the important information? They obviously feel that something needs to be shared now in 2023 about their story. And on that note, they did share information, guys. I think I've pieced together some things. Well, first of all, the most mind-blowing evidence that I corroborated through newspaper clippings to me, and it always bothered me, was a clip that came through in the summer when a man's voice said, "How many guns are you going to get me?" And the female voice replied, 100.
Great.
Months went by. I never thought of it. We didn't do anything about it. And then eventually, when Carol came back through in December, I started looking through the newspaper clippings, and I found an actual robbery that happened. The Anderson Hardware downtown was robbed 2 weeks before these guys were killed, and 125 guns were stolen.
2 weeks ago, 125 rifles were taken when thieves broke into the George Taylor Hardware in the city. There it is. There's the guns. There's the connection.
Everything I could find on this case demonstrated to me that maybe Donald Kelly was also coming through, trying to set the record straight. And when I researched into the character of this guy, it was pretty much as expected what we found. He was a bad dude. He did bad things. Robbed people, was a shyster, was a grifter, was a hustler, was violent. But he also had a set of morals, a streak where it showed that none of the hostages were harmed. They actually said they were treated well. He tied one up. The guy complained that his hands were too tight. Kelly untied him and retied the bonds looser. Another fellow at that same cottage who owned the car that Donald Kelly was going to steal said, "Hey, you can't steal my car. My tools are in there. I need those to work on Monday." Donald Kelly went out to the car, took the tools out, and left them for the guy, and then stole the car. If you didn't shoot Jack and Carol, who did? I swear I heard it was Ian. And then at the end, I thought I heard Ian again. It's almost a tragic love story.
What did you do to make them angry enough to kill you?
Carol? And I find it amazing from every little detail that these spirits talk about, you know? Even the pills, the acid that they did that night, they talked about that. They give us hints and clues about things that...
I brought some LSD, and it was shared by myself, Sharon, Mickey, Jerry, and Pat Fregamini, said the witness. The LSD made me extremely aware of what was going on around me.
Oh, that's not coincidence enough for you guys that they talk about the pills that they took at this party? Well, guess what? I didn't put in that video because it was in an article that I couldn't find. The witnesses all stated that they took a half tab of acid that night at the party, except Ian Rose, who took a tab and a half. Bad Black Barrel. They're talking about a gun. If you read the files, there were 2 guns that were used at the party that night, a silver one and a black one. I can tell you guys without verifying it that the .38 caliber had to be the black gun. Little things were said like, eat it. Well, guess what? I come to find out that Jack had a gun put in his mouth and was shot through the roof of his mouth, and that's how he died. Just, it said Carol's hair caught on fire. The forensic report said there was blackened skin and powder consistent with the shot from 12 to 18 inches. Donald Kelly says that he shot and missed at Carol, and then he couldn't do it. It's almost like he gave the gun to Ian Rose and said, pull the trigger. The spirits came through and told us that. Now, whether you believe any of these little pieces or not, because I'm putting the story together as they tell it, you have to remember, I'm getting the information from them. We weren't there. We can't verify these little details, but they make sense. And I'm getting the shiver down the back of my neck as I say it, kind of a confirmation that yes, we're telling you the story. There's more to the story. We weren't just characters in history. We were people with lives and love interests, party interests, tired of being poor. One other thing that has bothered me from the get-go of this dive into what happened, what was going on, is that the police found the bodies. There's something being covered up by the police, and the spirits allude to that being a big part of this case that they want aired out, knowledge that they want shared. The police should never have found those bodies because they weren't in town. They were 20 kilometers out of town, down a dirt road into the middle of nowhere, and down into a river that nobody would see if they were just driving along that bridge. They received a tip and they lied about it. They never said why they were out there. They just said they were doing a routine search. Well, Donald Kelly, as it turns out, was saying that stuff was stolen from the courthouse that involved his case that would stop him from receiving a fair trial. And I believe it had something to do with finding those bodies because that's what the spirits told us. What information was stolen from the courthouse that was going to affect you getting a fair trial? Somebody talked. And again, this leads to a couple of things. They wouldn't say why they were out here. It was never brought up. Mm-hmm. So there's two theories here. One is that Jack or Carol were informants. Mm-hmm. And the police knew, maybe they were following them that night. Maybe they even had a wire on somebody. Who knows?
Yeah.
And they knew, but they couldn't protect these guys. They were murdered out of the blue.
Yes.
And then they were like, oh, shit, what are we going to do now? These guys were just killed under our watch, basically.
Yes.
Let's sweep this under the rug. It never happened. They weren't our informants, is one theory. Mm-hmm. The second one is that Donald Kelly said stuff was stolen that would hinder his case. And when I asked the spirit box about that, it said a tip. Okay. And then it said bodies found in the drink. So fast. And it was basically alluding to the fact that the cops were the ones that came out here and found the bodies. Bridge.
A tip.
What is this tip? You guys have mentioned this before. Did somebody tip off the police about this body, and is that important? Can you give us their name? Who gave the tip? There are things that still bother me with this case, and I'm trying to figure out what the spirits are telling me that we need to investigate. And the last session out on the bridge, Doug and I heard the word bullet. I believe this is important. There's something to do with a bullet. They wouldn't say it that many times. Is their bullet still on site at that location? Did they fall down in the river? Were the guns or gun? Apparently there was only the one gun used. And I couldn't find anything about a gun ever being recovered. It was all about the information that witnesses had said, we saw this gun at the party. But the police never said we actually had a gun in evidence. Was it thrown in the river? Were these guys that lazy? Guess what? I think they really were. Probably not that bright and lazy enough to dump the bodies right there in the river. And then they said, oh God, they're floating. We have a problem. They thought they were going to sink. The spirits told us that.
Slime.
Would they have been dumb enough and lazy enough to just throw that gun in the river? And would the police have been dumb enough and lazy enough to not dredge the river bottom? I know sure as hell they weren't using metal detectors back then. They were just not available. The underwater stuff wasn't available. Do I need to go back there and metal detect that area? Oh, I don't want to. Just the thought of it makes me go, and even if we did find stuff, what would it be? I guess it would just be proof positive that... I guess we'll have to ask them if they want me to go there, metal detect, and see what they say. What are we going to find? Have them tell us. I think that's what they're getting at, guys, is me finding more evidence here. Actual physical evidence. What I would love to find in terms of physical evidence is the coins. The 6,000 silver quarters that were stolen. Apparently they're buried under a hill somewhere. The spirits told us that. What happened to the 6,000 quarters that were stolen from the CNR Railroad? We need to do another session and ask these questions, about me metal detecting the site of the murders. Can they give us any more direct information on a location, an area, where these coins are? Because they said they're buried. Can we find them? I'm after physical proof that these spirits can tell us through the phone that we can connect. That would be proof to me, proof positive that they are helping guide this investigation.